Y'all, before I even start, I want to say that I'm bringing my stuff into the bedroom to get comfortable, to get settled, to do my reading for y'all, and I cannot make this shit up if I tried. The angel dice have 111 on it, and the astrology dice that I just set down fell on 11, like the house 11. So oh my goodness. So, if ones is something that you're seeing a lot lately, this message could be for you. I feel like that's a confirmation for me as well that that everything's rolling in my life, which is just the guidance that I need right now. I'm trying not to look too tired for y'all. I've been running around like crazy this last few weeks, but I am very excited to get grounded with you and get centered so that we can get a move on with this reading. So yeah, as always, well, let me introduce myself first. For those of y'all that are new, I'm wishkotheferret. This is my channel. Hello. Thank you for coming into our little ferret den here, where we're keeping things warm and we're keeping things cozy. And if you are returning, welcome back. It's good to see you. So as always, as we're getting centered, I will say drop into your heart space. You want to let the dust spiritually, physically, and emotionally settle around and within you so that you can determine which messages are for you and which messages are for others. And I'm going to take my time to call in my energies so that I can get centered and connect, okay? So, thank you, Archangel Michael, for protecting me and for keeping me strong and safe, for being a guiding light. Thank you for being my sword of truth. Thank you to my angel guides and my spirit team for helping me connect with this energy. And if you all can do me a favor and just like imagine your energy just like coming to me in this sacred confined connection for the purpose of this reading, just so I can read it a lot better and guide you through to whatever messages you need. It's getting real. I have to put my hair up for this. Oh, wow. A lot of stuff came out. Well, I'm just going to read it all because it's not too... Okay. Oh, I knew this was getting real. Hang on, I'm going to have to put my bun up higher for this. The reason I say that is because I have a personal relationship with this card that popped out, Ghostlands. This Ghostlands card, this is from the Enchanted Map Oracle by Colette Baron-Reid. Love her decks, love her work. I'm going to try to shine this so that you don't get the glare and you can actually see what it is. But as you can see, it's like this... this temple, it kind of reminds me of, I mean, it's not Stonehenge, but it kind of reminds me of just like old ancient ruins with many different pathways, many different stories in each of their halls. We have someone else would be able to identify this. I see like the astrological zodiac of like Aries, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, blah, blah, blah. And I also see just the hand on something else. It's like the greater wheel of energies of life. I can't exactly say what those symbols are. But this card, in its core meaning, represents, first of all, the passage of time, and also it's concerning where we're putting our attention. So when Ghostlands pops up, it always signifies that our energies, our thoughts, our intentions might be too focused on past conditioning, past issues, past events, and also or potentially future things. So when you're trying to manifest something, some people get so wrapped up in living in the future, making decisions, and like you want to make decisions in the now to support your future, but there's a difference between it's not causal thinking. What is that? I don't know why that's coming to mind, but there's a difference between taking action oriented steps to get to where you're trying to go versus living in the fantasy of the future that does not belong in the present. I know that's like, it's kind of like a blurred line, I feel, because I think that if you, like, this comes at a point where, like, if you are spending too much time envisioning the future and how much better that will be than your present, I feel like some people, especially when they're trying to manifest something, they might spend, like, so much time trying to envision their future, and they get lost in this fantasy land, and they spend so long kind of, I don't want to say they're hating on their current reality, but it's almost like you know, it draws the comparison of, this is the future that I want because I don't have these things now. I want this future because these are the things that I am lacking now. And the problem with that kind of manifestation is that it could potentially draw in, not to like, you know, throw out fear or anything if you're realizing that you're doing this. A lot of times, like, it's hard to manifest. Manifesting is hard, okay? Let me just say that manifesting is hard. It's easy. It's easy for some, and it's like, I feel like manifesting can be the easiest thing in the world with the right mindset, but I think a lot of us just don't have the right mindset to do it, and it takes some work to actively bring in the things that we love. And I'm not gonna lie to you, like, I don't want to like come out here and say manifesting is like the easiest thing in the world, because there's so much frustration, I think, and people often feel like it's their own fault for not being able to manifest. They're like, all these social influencers say that it's so easy. I read all these books and they say it's so easy to manifest, and it can be, but if you're not really able to manifest, there are so many other factors that could be involved in that, but oftentimes it points to things that we need to work through. And a lot of times it's because we're not happy with our current reality. And from the cards, from what I'm seeing, just from the oracle that I've pulled, it does feel like there's not really a lot to be thankful for right now. I mean, we all have so much to be thankful for, but you have kind of like troubling cards like Dragon's Lair. I just feel like y'all are going through it right now. So like, I don't want to say like, oh, spend your time being thankful and optimistic, because it might fall on deaf ears. But I really want to point out and say that, you know, being hopeful is, if you're somebody who is struggling with something, like if you're somebody who is struggling to the deepest, darkest depths of your soul, it is in the form of like a separation of some sort. You have the coming apart card here as well. But let me just talk about Dragon's Lair, because I don't want this to seem like a completely negative reading. It's just, I'm picking up on a lot of icky energy, but it's because of where your focus is at. It's not so much as spend time focusing on things that bring you joy, because it's incredibly hard. This is stuff that you do have to work through. I'm hearing like the word reminiscing. So some of you might actually be reminiscing about how things once were, but that's not your current reality. So like, it's especially, this is like, I feel like this is concerning a relationship or a situation that doesn't serve you. I feel like for a lot of you, it's a relationship, because when this coming apart card happens, when it comes out in the deck, for me, it's always coming out to symbolize it's always like adding me, basically, for a relationship that I am putting too much attention towards. That person does not need my attention anymore. I don't need their attention anymore, but there's a part of me that craves it, because like I once had something with them. So this is something that, like, maybe this was a romantic split. This could have been, or this could have been like a breakup. This could have been like, you know, interesting. For me, this card pops up for a past loved one as well. Like when I find myself focusing on, because I lost a few people to like, a lot, like to people who took their own life. So when this card pops up, you know, when I find myself too invested in the hows and the whys and the, you know, like all of the unanswered questions, basically, that I have, I do find that this card pops up to let me know that, like, hey, you two are separate people, you're living your separate journey, and that this does apply to any other relationship where it's like, you know, the relationship that you once had, or like what you once had, it's still precious, but right now in the, like, it is required of you now to split apart from them and to live your own life. You need to move on. This is the card of moving on, and that's why, like, you know, like this and Ghostlands, I feel like, you know, come through when I experience the greatest of heartbreaks, or like the feeling of like this deep ache. So what I want to say is that while yes, this is something to process, there is so much more amazing things coming for you. You just need to prepare yourself in this moment to heal, first of all. I'm getting like a remembering who you are at a core level, because our actions, like, I know they say that our actions define us, but whatever actions, like in periods of duress and stress, those actions don't define us. I know it's very difficult for us to bounce back, to forgive ourselves, to forgive other people, but you need to extend a lot. Did you guys hear that? You need to extend a lot of compassion for yourself. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna go check my window. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, ugh. Sometimes, so like I have a lot of birds outside and my windows are huge. So sometimes, birds mistaken like the power lines in my window for actual power lines and then they ram into the window. I think it's fine. I didn't see it. I didn't see anybody on my roof. So I was like, oh, thank God. But, and I just feel like it, you know, and I don't like not to like freak anyone out. Like this could actually be for someone because I anticipate like I see that as kind of a sign. So for some of you, meeting these two energies in the middle with your collective energy and like with what just happened, usually that's that's it's I find it's a superstition type of thing. Birds are hitting my window all the time and I'm always dealing with death, but it is a superstition and it's a big thing that my family always talked about, but I haven't seen it for myself. Like I've seen like birds hit my window and nothing happened, but there is kind of this sign here of like as a confirmation point, this could have been somebody that has passed on, or this could be somebody who has died tragically, but coming back to let you know that like, you know, they feel free, that they feel safe, that they want more for you. Specifically, they're saying like they want more for you than what you've been gunning for, or like the situation that you're finding yourself in, they want more for you, which is why this separation is happening. The reason why that is like the bird is connected and is because in my family, when birds hit the window, that means that death is coming, and it's usually something that like, my family has always been like very afraid of, you know, the afterlife and everything. So you know, over the years they've definitely mellowed out, but it's one of those things where like they start freaking out, they shut down everything. They're like nope, and it's totally understandable. A lot of people fear death, and that's okay. But they anticipated something bad to happen, and that draws a lot of that bad energy in. But, and I guess that is like a superstition that a lot of other people encounter too, but I'm not worried about it just because it happens all the freaking time. Like sometimes birds just, you know, like it's very hard for them when they see the reflection. Like again, they think that it's other trees, other power lines. Those poor creatures. It's not always about us. Sometimes the birds are they're just trying to live in the world, guys. They're just trying to live. But anywho, but usually when something like when interruptions happen, I always take that as a sign and mesh it with the message. But I do feel like for a lot of you, this is a difficult time of separation, and it's causing you to reflect a little bit more on who you were, where you're at now, and then the kind of person you want to be. I'm going to show you Dragon's Lair again because this is a very important card that I want to dive into before we hop into some tarot, because you have like another card here I want to talk about. Dragon's Lair is quite literally approaching the Dragon's Lair on purpose. You're approaching the Dragon's Lair on purpose, and you're diving into this. You're diving into this very scary place with a lot of scary things, which could be parts of your shadow. This could also be, I find these also to mean, like what comes up for me is I find them also to be really bad memories of mine, or all of my fears. The nightmares that I have can reflect in this card as well. Any kind of negative energy that you find yourself dwelling on or being consumed by, and it's not so much as our shadow side is negative energy, they're just parts of ourselves that we need to accept. And I do think that with that, for whatever reason, Spirit's asking me to parallel this, that there are negative things, it feels like there are negative things that happen in life, and there needs to be a certain level of acceptance with those too. Just as much as our shadow self is a part of us, the negative experiences that we have, or the experiences that we have of heartbreak, loss, death, transition. I would actually argue and say that death is more of a transition than anything. But that's a whole different conversation, but because their energy is still here. But when we separate from someone, or when we separate ourselves from a situation, or we experience that feeling of abandonment, that feeling of loss, there needs to be a certain, like, it's not easy, but we tend to make the letting go and moving on process a lot harder than it needs to be, because these are experiences, regardless of what people say, we carry these things forever because we have memory. If your hippocampus is fully intact and fully functional, then we carry a lot of these memories with us for a long time. And there are things that if we dwell on them, time will ease the pain, but the pain will always be there. You know what I mean? Like, And I'm sorry, this sounds like so negative, but for whatever reason, I feel like some of you have just been going through this really awful time. And there just needs to be this level of acceptance. There just needs to be some kind of level of acceptance and quite literally choosing. You need to be able to, not even be able to, you need to choose. You need to actively make the choice and say, I'm no longer going to put my energy towards focusing on the awful things that happen, because there needs to be that level of acceptance. Part of choosing to focus on the here and now and focus on your life and the things that you want to cultivate and manifest, part of just making that choice to do that, I wouldn't say pushes that energy away, because again, our trauma, like, we can heal as much of that as we can. Our life is this never ending process of healing. Some people say, some spiritual practitioners say that we are already healed. Our experiences make up our perception. Our experiences make up our life. And, you know, there is hope. If you feel like you've been trying to claw your way out of something, there is hope that the sun will shine again, things will get better. But you need to actively make the choice to put your attention towards the sunshine and not so much towards the shadow parts of the garden. Do you understand what I mean? Like, if you are so focused on the darkness under the brush and all of like the whole ecosystem under this bush that's not getting like the sunlight, instead of focusing on everything in your garden that is getting sunlight, then you're going to be depressed, because you're only focused on that, like, you're only focused on that bush and everything, like all of the little seedlings that you tried to sprout underneath that bush in the shadows, that's not going to grow because it's not getting sunlight. You might have put in all those work to put, this is just a metaphor that's coming to me, but you might have put all that work into planting all of those seeds, but okay, you made a mistake. You planted the seeds in the wrong place, or maybe like the sun was shining at just the right angle at the time, and maybe like you didn't know any better, and then now the shadows are there, and it's like, okay, well, that didn't work out. So now I have to move on and cultivate my seeds elsewhere. And that's kind of what you have to do, because like the thing about dragon's lairs, we can't spend too long. We can't spend too long in the shadows lest they drag us down, or lest we start embodying some of that heavy energy. We don't need to make the moving on process any harder than it needs to be. So give it just enough attention to where you're processing it, you're feeling your emotions. But I know a great deal of time, like whenever there's trauma or separation, there does need to be a, like, let me just write out my feelings. Like, let me schedule like a certain part of the day, 5 to 10 minutes, where I can talk to myself about my feelings, and I can just feel into my feelings and acknowledge them, because you need to acknowledge your feelings, otherwise you push them away and it delays the healing process. But spending a little bit of time every day to acknowledge your feelings, but also taking the steps to live your life. Time will ease that ache as long as you are also taking other action to progress your life forward. So focusing on other parts of the sunshine, while also taking the time to visit your dragon's lair and talk to your feelings and see how you're feeling. And then watch yourself feel better. Over time, watch yourself work through your feelings, develop your own conclusions, your own insights, watch yourself grow from that and learn from yourself, so that you can keep moving forward. And I mean, like, if it was like, if some of you feel like you've made a mistake, or if you feel shame around your decision, like maybe you can make better decisions for yourself, and you can feel like, I know better now. I operated with the best knowledge that I could at the time, and now that I know, I can make better decisions for myself. I can make better choices. And, you know, it's tough. Life is tough. You know, we can't always know everything. We can't know the outcome of something that we try. You know, so please, please, please offer compassion for yourself where it is due. You deserve it. We all deserve a little bit of compassion, mostly from ourselves, because I feel like we are often very hard on ourselves. But you have the Gentle Gardener here as well. We haven't talked about this card yet, but the Gentle Gardener is a card of cultivation, of giving birth to new ideas, of feeling free enough. And also this old woman in the sky, this woman in the sky, I see her as representing spirit, our ancestors, anybody who is just watching over us and guiding our growth. You yourself are acting as that old mother, that old grandmother who is nurturing your little seedlings and trying to get them to grow. So this is talking about the things that you're manifesting. First of all, the Gentle Gardener says that you need to be gentle with yourself. And secondly, you need to take it easy, take it slow. You don't necessarily have to take it too slow, but be gentle with yourself while you're moving through this pathway of healing. You can slowly work towards your other manifestations. You don't have to rush it. The reason why I say work slow is oftentimes, at least for me, I know for me, sometimes, like for some people, everyone's like, you know, when they experience trauma or something awful happening in their life and they're going through a really tough emotional time, they're like, stop everything. They're like, stop everything, drop everything, I'm going into a coma. Like, or like, I'm going into my little hermit cave and I'm not coming out. Okay. Some people are like that, and other people like me are like, I'm just gonna work. I'm gonna work and I'm gonna keep working until I drop. And just invest. So that's why I say make sure that you are moderating how much effort you're putting into things, because for whatever reason I feel like I'm talking to the group that are on both extremes. I feel like a lot of us are a little bit more on like, I'm throwing myself into work, or I'm using other distractors to help me cope with the pain. And again, make sure you're set. I feel like some of you are not acknowledging your feelings, and spirit keeps saying 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Just take 5 minutes in a day to write down, journal. It doesn't have to be like written down. Personally, I hate writing things down. Like, I mean, I do like writing things down, but I would prefer, if I'm trying to do it fast, to do it like, because I'm a faster typer. So like, I'll type on something. You can type on a Google Docs or like a Microsoft Word document or something, like, or on a notepad, or even on your phone. Just blah, 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 blah. If you're faster with your thumbs, that's okay. Just go, or speech to text. You can do that too. Work through, talk to yourself, look at yourself in the mirror and talk to yourself that way. 5 minutes is all it takes, and your life will be so much easier if you just take the time to say, how am I feeling right now? Why do I feel upset about this? What can I do about this right now? Not only to like acknowledge that it happened, like what do I say to the me that was doing it before? How do I offer compassion to this person who was in this experience? Okay. And then spirit wants to have a little bit of a subject change here, because they want to talk about that you're missing something. They want to talk about something that they feel like you're missing. Like, it's like you're kind of, maybe this separation, like that loss is like causing this void, but it's almost like you're missing something. And they're pointing at the heart, and it's almost like maybe you've offered a piece of yourself to someone or a situation, and you're finding that with them, that piece seems gone. And I want to say that your heart and your soul, you're always complete. You're always whole. You can never give parts of yourself away because your energy is your own. You can give your energy, but your core cannot be split up and divided like that. Might be a little silly. You don't like, it's almost like you're seeking what feels missing within you, which is why you're taking your loss incredibly hard, is because you are seeking something that you find yourself lacking, or you're seeking, like, it's almost like you are looking for other people to fill some type of missing piece, or to fill, like, they're just showing me this tiny little section of your heart. They're showing me, like, quite literally, like the bottom left corner. I don't know why. They're showing me this tiny little piece of your heart, and it's almost like it's like missing, and you're trying to like find other people to like plug in to there, but it's not a perfect fit. Like, it feels like it has very exact ridges, and it feels like every puzzle piece that you pull from somebody else is different than the piece that goes in your heart. And that's because you have that piece. Nobody else is going to fit that. So I know it's kind of like an eye roller at this point because you hear it so much in the spiritual community, but it is so freaking true, y'all, that trying to complete yourself and acknowledge, I think a lot of it is just acknowledging how awesome we are as individuals. And I think that belief alone, and quite literally going into, what do I like about myself? What do I love about myself? Because I think like it's hard when people say like, oh, give yourself self-love. Like, it's more than just a bath. It's more than just like rubbing essential oils and, you know, feeling good. Like, you know, it's we're not talking about the material energies, like of indulging the senses and taking care of our body, though that can be self-care. That can be self-care. I feel like for a lot of us, we might have beliefs. We might think that we're awesome, but like the actual belief that we are awesome is important. It's important for the manifestation. It's important for helping lead our lives with a stronger sense of direction, a stronger sense of purpose. When we actually like a big part of, like, for example, a big part of what I am working on here is developing my own sense of direction in life instead of going to my guides for everything, or like closing a meditation and like looking out, like my awareness turns outside and I'm like, find me the answer, please. What do I want? And then I hear, well, what do you want? And I'm like, well, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. Shouldn't you know? Shouldn't you know me? Like, if you're my guide, you should know what I want, right? So actually being able to find what I want and not looking to other people to answer it for me And for some of you, that might actually be it. Like learning about yourself a little bit more. And I find that, okay, and this is something that's popping up. If you are like a people pleaser, or you're somebody who wants to love up on other people, like you love receiving their love, so you kind of mold yourself to fit them, you might not realize that you're doing it. It might be so little. It might be the tiniest, like you might tell yourself, oh, well, I don't care where we go out to eat. But you actually do have kind of a little bit of a preference deep in. Like, let's say you're feeling the faintest preference towards, oh, maybe I want a burger. Maybe I want like a salad, or maybe I want Thai food or something like that. I don't know. I'm just pulling shit out of my ass. But if like, you're like, okay, I want this thing, but it's like so little. And like if like your whole group, like let's say like you're in a friend group or your family or going out or whatever, and everybody around you is like, oh no, I want steak, or I want to go out and get this, like, you know, from this. And you go, oh, okay, like I just want to hang out with everybody. Like it's cool. I don't mind where I eat. But then you do that enough, and then you start to realize like you're not giving yourself like the chance to voice your preference and say, you know, you don't have to like fight every single time, because I think compromise is a very important part of life, but it's also important to acknowledge what you want every once in a while, because when you put other people's like, and again, it's a compromise. I feel like, yes, acknowledge your own needs. If like, it might seem like something trivial, but you know, maybe that like, you know, putting something like that forward can help you achieve a greater sense of the things that you actually like, the things that you actually want to do. You can develop stronger preferences the more you entertain them. The more you entertain the things that you want, the stronger that energy is for, oh, this is my sense of self. This is actually what I love. And like, you know, I'm okay. And like, you know, knowing what you love and compromising are two different things. You can have a preference and still say, oh yeah, like, you know, let's go out and like, you know, I'm feeling more like Thai food, but yeah, let's go out and get tacos. Like we can get, you know, like let's go out and get Thai food some other time, you know. But I'm going to stop like blah, blah, blahing for a while. There's just a few things that you can do to get back into your own energy and to actually acknowledge some of those things that you want to do. It can help you exercise your sense of like self worth, I guess. Like, I don't know, because some of us, we're like, we spend so long people pleasing that we don't really know ourselves. So that's just like that's just an example of how you can bring some of that into your reality, how you can start acknowledging some of the things that you do, like basically by practicing. So let's see what your tarot has to say, and we will get you rolling here. Oh, you got stuff coming out. Okay. And I'll also roll some Astro Dice here for you so we can get like a better view as to what's going on here. So you have the South Node in Aquarius in the second house. So the South Node is, it could be past baggage. Typically, South Node does represent things in a past life that we are trying to shed, things that we're trying to get rid of. I find that the South Node is applicable in our current situation. So like things that we've gone through, repeating patterns that we find ourselves in this lifetime, but general themes that could have been placed in a previous life, or we could have experienced in a previous life that we find ourselves struggling with in this life, and that we are meant to learn from and break free from. But the South Node here is paired with Aquarius, and when colored with Aquarius energy, Aquarians are very authentic, even to the point of being eccentric, because they don't care what other people think. It depends on how this is in your astrological chart. Not every Aquarius sun is like this, or moon, rising, whatever. Depends on how, like, the composition of the rest of your chart. But essentially, Aquarius energy is the authentic, eccentric, genius, basically. Genius in whatever they are interested in, because they're going to put all of their time and energy into what they are interested in. The Aquarius is... they are logical, but they stay true to themselves, because like the Aquarius is an air sign, and I do see like some swords in your tarot here. So keeping like a calm head, a calm, like, I almost said like a calm body. Like, I don't know why I said calm body, calm will. It just, for whatever reason, there's like wands present, and then like for whatever reason Spirit is like, not that. So the wands to me symbolizes like will, strength, drive, someone being like all over the place, maybe like with their emotions, but I feel like maybe not all over the place with their emotions. Maybe I should correct that. Somebody who's like has a very strong fire, and maybe that's not really the element that you are embracing right now. Right now, it seems that like whatever the situation is, it is like being approached with like a calm, analytical perspective, but also trying to get to the roots of your subconscious self and bring out the core of how you want to live, how you truly want to thrive in this world. That's kind of what you're digging for here. And the second house reflects our internal values. It is also the house of money and all that good stuff. So your inner values and your finances, specifically like things that could be concerning you around this time. But I think some of you could also be using your authentic selves to generate more money. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but like, you know, if you are somebody who's like a content creator, for example, and you're like, I want to show more of my personality and actually be true to who I am, like, and like bring in money that way. Or if you wanted to do like, I don't know, I'm just hearing like being yourself or being who I am and having that be enough in like the workforce, in whatever area where you are generating money from. I see somebody who is going to work in a place where they might not feel appreciated, but still being themselves anyway, because that is where they feel happiest. And that is something that I think is so incredibly hard, but so incredibly important. And it's so freeing when you finally do start acting like yourself, saying the things you want, being like, I'm hearing that you're a generous person. You could be a very generous person. So allowing yourself to give to others. And it seems like you might not have, because of your generosity, you might struggle with like being taken advantage of because other people are like taking advantage of you, and you might not see it right off of the bat, or you do see it. I do sense that you have like a little bit, but you want to give the benefit of the doubt. It's almost like I want to be totally logical about this. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I want to give that to them anyway. But I feel like you're kind of like getting dragged in the mud. So just make sure that you are giving to people who like, just make sure you're monitoring your energy that way. You can give from a place of love and compassion and generosity, but just understand that receival of energy. So like when I picked up the tarot, I did not even like, this is kind of like, I'm seeing this as a main theme. Like this card did not get picked up as I was shuffling, and I was like, what the heck is this card? The single card sitting here that did not get shuffled. Justice. Make sure you're being fair to yourself. This is hardcore Libra energy right now. So make sure that like whatever exchange is happening, that you are giving what you are receiving. So make sure that you are being fair to other people. Make sure that you're mostly being fair to yourself, because I feel like you're giving way too much than what you're taking. And I feel like that's ultimately a drain on you. And it just doesn't really give for like a strong, like you can make yourself stronger if you make the exchange more equal, you know, and then you let in the energies in your life that you actually want present, you know, and this could have actually been the thing in like past relationships too, of you giving too much. But anyway, moving on, we have the Three of Pentacles here. So this is actually the study card, the learning card, the collaboration card. So actually working with others can make you feel really good right now. Seeking a support system, seeking people that help you thrive in business, in your personal life, people who help you feel uplifted, who support you emotionally, who support you financially. So spending your time investing in things that are worth your time, that are worth your money. That's kind of what this card is saying. That's actually going to help alleviate some of this pressure that you're feeling right now, is to help get out, like just get out into your vicinity, your community, whatever, and start getting your close attachments is what Spirit is saying. So your close attachments, seek support for them and start building up something. Like go out for a walk, go out for coffee, drink, whatever. Like, you know, play board games, go out for a hike, go rock climbing. I don't know, whatever you guys do. Go do it. It'll make you feel a lot better. So don't isolate yourself. So we have the Eight of Swords. You have a tendency to feel trapped a lot in the situations that happen to you. And the Eight of Swords I find is always very simple to deal with, because I find it a very blessing. Like I find it's a huge blessing to get in a reading, because it is signaling from Spirit that, hey, yes, your external circumstances suck, but you know, like your external circumstances suck, but you know what? Can you get out of it? Are you making choices to keep you in? Like, you are like choosing, like Spirit saying you are safe. And that is the important thing. You are safe. Take off the blindfold. Take off the blindfold. Free yourself. You know, she can very easily take off her blindfold. She's imagining, like, so the thing is, like, they're telling me, like, this woman on the card, she's imagining very high stakes. And Spirit's asking you to focus on what's important, because those high stakes might not even be present. Those high stakes might not have even happened yet. Like, you know, like there might be concerns floating in the ether, but if you focus on every single floating concern, it's going to suck the joy out of your moment. It's going to suck the joy out of the now. So Spirit's asking you to instead unleash the blindfold and quite literally step into the sun. I love that we talked about stepping into the sun and seeing the sunlight, and we have the Fool here who is doing that exactly. So embracing this new beginning. It's like, I love the Fool because I do want to say that the Fool is a new beginning, but I love the Fool in that it is the end, but it is also the beginning. So it is like the beginning of tarot because it's 0, but the Fool is like, this is like a never-ending, like they say that the major arcana in tarot is like a hero's journey. We are always cycling through it. So the Fool comes back after every cycle of our life, after every rebirth, after the world, after completion. We start right back at the Fool, where we are wiser, we are free from the past because we've learned from it. We can still hold our past and still feel free from it, so long as we learn from it, incorporated it, and like, this is like the card of moving on. This is the center of your tarot. This is what I see you doing. Moving on. You are quite literally moving on. And you're changing it up. You're changing it up. Maybe you're changing up the way that you look. Maybe you're changing up your style. Maybe you're changing up the way that you do things, your habits, your routines. There's something about, like, you know, you need a change up, and that could help you feel like a new invented you and help you move forward a little bit more. The King of Swords is having a nice, calm, cool head. And with this fresh start, because they're still talking about the Fool, actually. They're still, like, on the Fool. And while, so, okay, sorry, hang on. They're still talking about the Fool. This, white rose that he's holding, that card of, so, like, I think a great deal of tarot interpretations, I think a lot of people assume that the Fool is very naive, which I guess in extremist energies could be a little bit naive, but that's not the energy that we're talking about here. A lot of times people interpret the Fool as someone who, like, there's what the Fool is meant to represent, which is like a new invented self. The Fool is actually incredibly wise. A lot of people feel that he isn't very wise, but he actually is, because he's constantly reinventing himself. So I don't want you to get tripped up over like the traditional meaning of tarot, because I should mention I'm somebody who intuitively channels. But also the Fool isn't, like, tarot is interpreted in so many different ways. There is a traditional of, like, you know, like the new beginning. But in reality, that doesn't reflect the human experience. We don't always, like, you know, enter life at random points throughout our lifetimes as like a newborn babe who is completely innocent, completely, like, you know, feeling pure and like, I have no life experiences and I'm about to go like make, no, the slate isn't completely wiped clean. But we have, the thing about the Fool is that because like the major arcana is always being cycled through, we are constantly incorporating knowledge and becoming the Fool. We are becoming the wise version who is ready to go out, like the wise version of ourselves who's ready to go out. We're ready. We feel like we processed our junk and we're like, okay, it's time to try again. So that's the Fool energy that we're embracing here. It's not saying that you are a fool. It's not saying that you are naive or too innocent. This is quite literally saying you've incorporated the wisdom to have this fresh start. I find that fools are actually the wisest. They say that fools are the wisest because, like, and they're the happiest because they choose what to focus on. They choose, like, it's not that they're ignoring their troubles. It's just they're like, okay, well, what am I going to do about it? It happened. It's done. Or, hey, that's out of my control. Why focus on it? You know? So, I don't know. I find that some negativity is also quite cynical. So, you know, it's easy for, you know, people like that to tear us down. But, you know, taking the time to make that choice, taking the time to actually try to implement that choice, it'll do wonders for you. The King of Swords, it's kind of reflecting, it's kind of echoing this Aquarius energy of being authentic. So the King of Swords here has this sword of truth here. He has the ability to make, like, he's fully capable of making decisions, and that's what Spirit wants you to know. You are fully capable of making your own decisions. You are fully capable of making your own choices. That's important, and they want you to know that with that card alone. I don't know if there's anything else to say about that. The King of Swords is very calm mind. He's very quick. He's very decisive, and he built his kingdom based on his rationale. He built his kingdom based on his own logic, and you could do the same. It not necessarily on, it doesn't have to be just on logic. You can build your kingdom in whatever way you want, but specifically the important thing about this card is the message is, you know, staying tuned to that authentic self and following your own sort of truth and just letting you know you can make that choice. You can make choices and have them be valid just because you want to make them. You don't need an explanation. You don't need a whole argument. You don't need to tell everybody why you're doing it. You can make the choice just as confidently as anybody else. It takes practice, but you can do it. You have the Seven of Cups and the King of Wands that popped out at the same time. So I'm going to read them together. The Seven of Cups is about having so many options, so many choices. And the King of Wands, could represent another person. So for some of you who are, you know, just, this is like reassurance, I feel, for some of you who have split up recently. I wouldn't go looking for this right off the bat. I would work on making your own decisions and like being comfortable in your skin before you go out. If this is something that you have, like a situation you've separated from romantically, you have options. You have so many other options out there. Just make sure that you are trying to work on feeling complete yourself so that you're not looking for that puzzle piece in everybody else, because it's not going to fit. Just saying. It's not going to fit. But you attract actually the partner that you want if you fully embrace like yourself, and you recognize your amazingness, because you also recognize what you're worth, and you also seek the things out that you are worth. You seek out that worth, or no, you have that worth within you, but the things that you are worthy of, you seek out those things. So you have the Seven of Cups, like I said, is options. That's options with other people. That's options for how you can, I just heard how you can claim your territory too. You have options for, like, if you're creating something new, you have options for how to do that. So let's say you want to talk about race cars or something. You want to talk about race cars, you want to talk about horses, or something, and you have so many mediums to do that. You have the internet. The internet has 5,000,003 ways that you can do something. You can create newsletters and websites for free. You can do all of this other stuff. You can start a blog, like a free blog somewhere. You can go, you can channel it all and, submit to magazines. You can talk about it, you could talk about it and post it to YouTube. You could, like, go out and do workshops in your life, maybe in your city or your town. There are so many different things that you can do to channel this energy of creation. So take advantage of all those avenues. If you're not sure, try out a little bit and see. You have the power to be decisive with your options too, because Seven of Cups comes up when we have trouble making our own choices. The King of Wands is, again, he's another king. They made choices to get themselves so successful. And the thing about the King of Wands is that they're very success driven. They're very hardworking. They have a very strong will and determination, and that is kind of the backbone of good work ethic, is honestly like working when you don't feel like it. So if some of you are looking for success, I do see that. It's just a matter of committing to something. Spirit is asking you, if you're going to work towards something and if you want to be successful, try it out for a little bit here and there, but eventually commit to something, commit to one of your many options so that you can start building success off of that. Because I feel like having your own success, having something to work for, is like, it adds so much depth to your life, rather than, focusing on just this relationship or just this job or just this one thing in life that you do. Because if that thing is removed, it's almost like, I don't know, personally, when I attach myself to one thing, I have an identity crisis when I lose it. And I'm like, what do I do? So it's nice to spread out, spread your wings and go explore. As human beings, I feel like that's one of the reasons why we're here, not only to experience joy, but to explore all that life has to offer. Last but not least, I'm going to roll the angel dice for you because I feel like I have been talking for an incredibly long time. We have 382. I'm pulling from Angel Numbers by Kyle Gray, as always. You are being connected and reconnected with friends and other relationships that are important for your growth. Open your mind. Oh, that's literally this Three of Pentacles. Manifest into this quote. Let me say it one more time. You are being connected and reconnected with friends and other relationships that are important for your growth. Open your mind. So, that being said, thank you so much if you've listened to me for this far. Thank you so much this long. Yes, for this long. That's what I meant to say. Thank you for listening to me for this long. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for helping me connect with your energy. If this resonated with you in any way, go ahead, like and subscribe and all the things. I'm working on so many other different projects, and I can't wait for you all to bear witness to them. Thank you for all of your support. That's all I have to say. It means the world when you leave comments and when you like and when you subscribe. I don't know. I see the love, especially in the comment section. Y'all the real MVPs. Love you, love you, love you all. And yeah, I will see you next time. Love you. Bye.